Baruch atah Yahuwah le'olam va'ed. Yahuwah, hagein otanu b'makom hazeh, v'hagein et amcha Yisrael, hagein et anashim v'nashim, yeladim v'yeladot, tinochim v'tinochot. Now Yahuwah tirapeh otanu, tirapeh et kol Yisrael, kashi anachnu zorikim refui, rafeh otanu Yahuwah, ki anachnu zorikim ezratcha Yahuwah. Baruch atah Yahuwah. Yahuwah our God, the God of Abraham, Yitzchak, and Israel. We bless your name, Yahuwah. We come before you on this holy Shabbat to give you thanks and praises. We thank you for our lives. We thank you for being our God, our creator, our protector, our king, our maker, the possessor of all things and everything, Yahuwah. Only you do we come before to give honor, to give exaltation, to sing praises, and to give glory to Yahuwah. Because we know that you are the only true and living God, the true and living King of the universe, our rock, our shield, our provider. We bless your name, Yahuwah. We bless you in good times, we bless you in bad times, Yahuwah. Because we know and understand without you there's nothing. We have no power in our hands, Yahuwah. So we come before you, Yahuwah, to give you thanks and honor. And we ask for your forgiveness for all the things that we've done in your sight. We ask that you would hear our prayers, hear our cries, our petitions, and even bless us for your great name's sake, Yahuwah. Not for any of our goodness, because we know we have no good deeds, Yahuwah, before you. But because you are great and highly to be exalted, we ask that you would hear us and forgive us, Yahuwah. Blessed be Yah and holy name, Yahuwah, now and forever. Baruch atah Yahuwah le'olam va'ed. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Amen. Shabbat Shalom L'Kol. Giving thanks and praises to this great God, the God of Abraham, Yitzchak, and Yisrael, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Thanking him for life on this day. There's only a few of us here, but we thank the Most High God. We thank him when the place is crowded. We thank him when the place is half empty. It's a beautiful thing. We have life on this day. We all ate good. We had nice clothes to put on. What more can you ask for? Let's sing and give praises to this great God. The song of thy wondrous works will tell. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. The heavens declare it, the glory is thine, the earth in its beauty shows honor divine. Our Yah, the Creator of everything, to thee we lift up our voices and we'll sing of the might of the God, the God of Abraham. It's our God, the God of Israel. He made and when we do falter, we'll cry unto thee. Thou sendest thine angel to show us the way. To thee we send our praises when we pray. Sing the might of God, God of Abraham. It comes God, the בגולנו. אנחנו יושבים בגולנו. We are dwelling in captivity. בגולנו יושבים אנחנו. Same words. If you listen, I say, אנחנו יושבים בגולנו. But then we switch it around. We say, בגולנו יושבים אנחנו. בגולנו יושבים אנחנו. בגולנו. בגולנו. יושבים אנחנו. בגולנו יושבים אנחנו. בגולנו יושבים אנחנו. history. Pray that the Most High God is with his words and his thoughts, and that he gets everything out that he wants to teach us, because sometimes you get up here and your nerves get you and you forget a lot of your points. So I pray that the Most High God will allow him to bring forth his lesson the way he wants to bring it, and that we all give him our undivided attention. As I bring before you our chief Uziel, Ben Levi, Ben Yisrael, Baruch Haba. Oh, it's not Chief Uziel. It's our Chief Levi, Chief Kohath, Ben Levi, Ben Yisrael, Baruch Haba. Look at Chief.
Shalom. First and foremost, we want to thank God for our life. We want to thank you for the great thing that you bestowed upon the sons of men. That's food, clothing, and shelter. That's great. We always want to thank this Most High God for everything that he does for us as a people. And one of the greatest things that he has done to man is to bring him back to the knowledge of self. That's the greatest thing that could ever happen to man, that you know who God is. The history that we're bringing here today is about our family. That, you know, from one reason or another, they just didn't know who this great God was. I don't know, and I don't want to make an excuse for that, but they went reprobate about this great king. You know, a king that did everything good for them, and on a sudden they was, you know, they went and praised other gods that have no substance. But we want to thank God for our life today. Thank God to guide the brothers that in Pennsylvania and bring them back safely to us. Because the storm is on its way. And those highways and byways are very treacherous. So I ask God to be the pilot. You know, when you didn't know God, you hear guys say, God is my co-pilot. I say, that sounds good, but not like that. God is the pilot. Yeah, he used to look good, you know? The guy in the back of his car said, God is my co-pilot. I said, oh, that sounds good. But then when you know God, he said, no, he's not second to none, he's the pilot. The ball game changed completely. He's in charge. Yeah, so, you know, like I said, it's good to know God. You can understand who's in control and who have all the power. Right. You know, last week we finished the first king, and Uziel brought an exemplary lesson with the showing of how from now on that's what will happen. You know, you're giving the history, and if you can show it on the TV, most people adapt it faster. So you can picture it more or less what's going on. You know, you can use empathy when you see the picture. You say, well, okay, that's where he is, and that's where it starts. That was a great one. Thank you, Oops. Appreciate that. Yeah, you have to drive me home tonight. You like that? So we are here to enjoy God's day, the holy day, the Shabbat day, and we will be glad and rejoice hearing. Because it's God's day. You know, it's never a boring thing to come with God people. You always have laughter. Right. You have, you know, they got, you know, some people we get us tightened up when they come to Shabbat. Shabbat is a day, it's a relaxed day. It's a day to relax and to hear the word of God. Yeah. Yeah, you should be tight. You should be loose. You're among your people. Yeah, you can leave all your pocketbook one place. You can read your loud wallet. You can read things all around because you're among brothers that do Torah. Amen. You understand? And you should be relaxed. You should be tense. It's a good day. It's a blessed day. Amen. So let's go into this portion here. We're going to go into the book of 2 Kings, first chapter.
We're in the book of 2 Kings, chapter 1. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
and Moab rebelled against Israel after the death of Ahab. And Ahaziah fell down through the lattice in his upper chamber that was in Samaria, and was sick. And he sent messengers and said unto them, Go, inquire of Baal-zebub, the god of Ekron, whether I shall recover of this sickness.
Yeah, so here it is. His father died.
Right.
So now he's in charge. A lattice is like a lot of boards crossed over and over like a diamond shape. That's a lattice. Maybe that he had a lattice on the floor to look down on the first floor. Because the way it seemed like he walked off and fell down. So he's hurt. But he's sending his messenger to go to the god of the roach and a fly together.
Right.
How could you? I mean, like, give me a break here. What's going on with our people? When you look at Baal-zebub, it's a roach and a fly together. Yeah, the double pest. And how you pray to that? And the god of the Philistine. Is not our God.
Right.
That's the god of the Philistine. What is he doing praising that God? You know, it's crazy how our mind went reprobate and we are the king. This is the king here now. This is the king of Israel. And he's sending to inquire of a God that is an insect. And let's see what God said in Deuteronomy 6:14. Because I guess he forgot this. Deuteronomy 6:14. And see what I said. Because I don't know how we can forget that.
Deuteronomy 6:14.
Yes. Chapter 6, verse 14.
Ye shall not go after other gods, of the gods of the peoples that are round about you. For a jealous God, even Jehovah thy God, is in the midst of you.
Yeah, it is. So what's going on with Ahaziah here? What's his problem? And that's what. And if you see that the God is frightening. I mean, if it's come to choose between them and JC, I'm going JC. Because this is a creature. This is a frightening creature. It's a macabre looking thing. And we praying to that means our mind was like way off. Yeah. read on, my brother.
Verse 3.
Yeah.
But an angel of Jehovah said to Elijah the Tishbite, Arise, go up to meet the messengers of the king of Samaria, and say unto them, Is it because there is no God in Yisrael that you go to inquire Baal-zebub, the god of Ekron? Now therefore thus saith Jehovah, Thou shalt not come down from the bed with the dog going up, but shalt surely die. And Elijah departed.
Because that's what Elijah does.
That's it. Straightforward.
He did that to Achab years ago. He said there would be no rain for many days and disappeared.
That's it.
And when done by the book she read, and God fed him, God said we're going to be a raven to feed you bread in the morning and flesh in the evening. And that's it. And that's what Elijah do. He just bring the message. He don't stick around. He bring the message and he leave. Read on, my brother. Let's see what's going on here.
And the messengers returned unto him, and he said unto them, Why is it that ye are returned? And they said unto him, There came up a man to meet us, and said unto us, Go, return unto the king that sent you, and say unto him, Thus saith Jehovah, Is it because there is no God in Israel that thou sendest to inquire Baal-zebub, the god of Ekron? Therefore thou shalt not come down from the bed with a dog going up, but shalt surely die. And he said unto them, What manner of the man was he that came up to meet you, and told you these words? And they answered him, He was a hairy man, and girt with the girdle of leather about his loins. And he said, It is Elijah the Tishbite.
Yeah, they know Elijah. So he had a leather jack strap. That's what he had. That's what a girdle is. And a mantle. That's all he had. And here you are. That's what it is. That's what it is.
Teach, Chief.
And all he has is a mantle, and he's hairy, and he's a Tishbite. That's who he is. And he just brings the message and leave. You understand? And it happened to his father, so he's known him very well. Ahaziah know him very well, because that's the type of man he is. He brings the message and he leaves. So he asked him what type of man, what manner of man he was. He said he girded with a leather. Yeah, you know exactly. It's Elijah the Tishbite. Read up, my brother.
Then the king sent unto him a captain of 50 with his 50, And he went up to him, and behold, he sat on the top of the hill, and he spoke unto him, O man of God, the king hath said, come down. And Elijah answered and said to the captain of 50, if I be a man of God, let fire come down from heaven and consume thee and thy 50.
Yes, if I'm the man of God, like you said, let fire come from heaven from Jehovah and consume you guys. We don't understand.
And there came down fire from heaven and consumed him and his 50.
Because they're trying to kill him.
Right.
That's why the guys wanted them to kill him.
Right.
Yeah, the setup. Come on down. Let's read on and let's go to the other one.
And again he sent unto him another captain of 50 with his 50.
Yes.
And he answered and said unto him, O man of God, thus hath the king said, come down quickly.
Oh no, this gang wanted him quickly now. The first gang said to come down. This gang said come down quickly. Like it's an emergency, but it's killed. They want to kill him. Read on, my brother.
And Elijah answered and said unto them, if I be a man of God, let fire come down from heaven and consume thee and thy 50. And the fire came down from heaven and consumed him and his 50. And again he sent the captain of a third 50 with his 50.
Yes.
And the third captain of 50 went up and came and fell on his knees before Elijah.
Yes.
And besought him and said unto him, O man of God, I pray thee, let my life and the life of these 50 thy servants be precious in thy sight.
This one is wisdom. Wisdom is smart.
That's right.
He understood that it's 100 men gone already. So now he's going to use wisdom, and he asking for his life. He pleading for his life. And because he don't want to lose his life, so he know that the power that Elijah has, the prophet, with God, that anytime he says let fire come down, he's going to kill everyone.
Right.
So he decided to use wisdom at this time and begging for his life and the 50 guys. Read on, my brother.
Behold, there came fire down from heaven and consumed the two former captains of 50 with their 50s. But now let my life be precious in thy sight. And the angel of Jehovah said unto Elijah, go down with him. Be not afraid of him. And he arose and went down with him unto the king. And he said unto him, thus saith Jehovah, for as much as thou hast sent messengers to inquire of Baal-zebub, the god of Ekron, is it because there is no God in Israel to inquire of his word? Therefore thou shalt not come down from the bed whither thou art gone up, but shalt surely die.
Yes, Elijah just give it to him the way it's supposed to be. Straight up.
Straight up.
He didn't butter it, he didn't fancy it, just tell him you're not coming down for that bed, you're going to die. No chasing, just you're going to die. Because he followed the footsteps of his father, it's wicked. And that's coming from his father time with Jezebel. You know, we read about Jezebel a lot because that woman was a real tyrant in the time of Israel. But you know, and she was the most hated woman in the Bible. But then the most hated woman in America was Madeline Murray O'Hare. She stopped the prayers in school. 1963. Yeah, she was the most hated woman in America. She's the one that her son was praying the last prayer, and she stopped it and took it to the Supreme Court. And the Chief Justice was Earl Warren, and he said, yes, it's unconstitutional to pray in school. And eventually she disappeared. Somebody wiped her out. Wiped she out, the son and the granddaughter. Yes, she started the Atheist Foundation in the United States. So just like we had a Sidonian was wicked, we had a European was wicked in this country. And they wiped it out. Read on.
So he died according to the word of Jehovah which Elijah had spoken. And Jehoram began to reign in his stead in the 2nd year of Jehoram, the son of Jehoshaphat, king of Yehuda, because he had no son. Now the rest of the acts of Ahaziah which he did, are they not written in the book of the Chronicles of the king of Israel? Chapter 2.
Hallelujah.
And it came to pass when Jehovah would take up Elijah by a whirlwind into heaven, that Elijah went with Elisha from Gilgal. And Elijah said unto Elisha, tarry here, I pray thee, for Jehovah hath sent me as far as Beit El. And Elisha said, as Jehovah liveth, and as thy soul liveth, I will not leave thee. So they went down to Beit El.
Yes, because Elisha is his minister. And he, after the time that Elijah called him and he followed him, he had him as a teacher. So, you know, you don't want to leave him because there's a lot of strength in Elijah. And he's the prophet that followed him, and he's going to be the prophet that come after Elijah. And everybody know that, all the prophets know that the Most High is going to take up Elijah out of here by a whirlwind with the chariot of fire. And all the prophets know that. Read on, let's go.
And the sons of the prophets that were at Beit El came forth to Elisha, and said unto him, knowest thou that Yahweh will take away thy master from thy head today? And he said, yeah, I know it. Hold ye your peace.
Yes, hold your peace. I already know. You don't have to let me know. I already know that the Most High God is going to do wonders. Read on, my brother.
And Elijah said unto him, Elisha, tarry here, I pray thee, for Yahweh hath sent me to Jericho. And he said, as Yahweh liveth, and as thy soul liveth, I will not leave thee. So they came to Jericho. And the sons of the prophets that were at Jericho came near to Elisha and said unto him, knowest thou that Yahweh will take away thy master from thy head today? And he answered, yeah, I know it. Hold ye your peace.
Everywhere that he go, the prophets already know what's going to happen to Elijah, that he's going up in the whirlwind of fire. Everybody know that because they're prophets. Read on, my brother.
And Elijah said unto him, tarry here, I pray thee, for Yahweh hath sent me to the Jordan. And he said, as Yahweh liveth, and as thy soul liveth, I will not leave thee. And they too went on. And 50 men of the sons of the prophets went and stood over against them afar off. And they too stood by the Jordan. And Elijah took his mantle and wrapped it together and smote the waters. And they were divided hither and thither, so that they too went away over on dry ground.
Just like the sea of reed. That's the power that our people have. We came from great people.
Right.
We came from powerful people. We forsook God, and we fell ourselves into a low degradation way of life because we forsook our God, our power. But we were the most mightiest people in the world. We have done things that no other country could ever done. You understand? We stopped the sun. We opened a whole sea. That's who we was. We bring back people alive. Yeah. Because you saw when what you call it about the child that was dead, and you bring him back alive. We had that power with God. God gave us that power.
Right.
Our great entity gave us that power to do things. And it was taken away from us because we decided not to serve him. And God was very, you know, his mercy endured forever, but he was very upset with us for the things that we did. We've done a lot of crazy stuff, and we decided to leave our God. And that's why we're in this predicament today. You know, Chief Natalie Bendan gave a great lesson about the things that we're doing, and we have to stop. We need to come together in a different mind frame. We have to come in a different mind frame. We have to reassess our position in this place and be more godly, those of us that know God. Those of us that know God, we need to be more up to par with God's statutes, ordinance, and his commandment, so that we could be a light unto the people. And nobody's not telling you that you don't have to have a good time, but you have to be straight and narrow in that path that God sends you, so that the people can say, there's something about you that I want to know about. There's something about you. And we have to be a light unto those people. We have to be the light because we are great people. And don't care what the people of the land say, because they find any way possible to make us look small. You can't blame them. They know we are a powerful people. That's why. And they'll continue to tell people that we are this, we are that, we are nothing, but we are the greatest people on the face of the earth. I'm sorry to say that. They might think what they want, but we are the greatest people. I don't care what they want to say. You know, there's no one like the Israelites.
Right.
No one.
Yeah.
Because we are the one that stand in Mount Oreb, and God spoke to our forefathers.
Right.
No other people in the world have heard the word of God. Nobody. Just us. And he told us at that mount, he says, I'm not only speaking to you, but those that are in your loins. That's us. That's us right here today.
Right.
And that happened thousands of years ago.
Right.
That's why when we come to this way of life, we pick it up that fast. Because we are the people.
Right.
We are the people. Because it's in us. It's in our DNA. It's in our DNA to serve God.
That's right.
It's in our DNA to serve God. And we are the only people, like I keep saying, that can pray to an unseen God. Everybody has to have something tangible. Up to the Jew man, you go to a wall and you see him bowing all day long like that. To a wall. You have to have something tangible. That's we. We are the only people that can pray to an unseen God. And that's power. It's called power. Yeah, and you get an answer. That's right. I like that. And it's called power. Read on, brother.
Verse 9. And it came to pass when they were gone over, that Elijah said unto Elisha, ask what I shall do for thee, before I am taken from thee. And Elisha said, I pray thee, let a double portion of thy spirit be upon me.
Yes, I like to get a double portion of what you have.
Right.
Not your portion, double portion.
2 pieces.
Yeah, give me a double portion because I know with the type of thing that you can do, and with the double portion, I do more. That's I need a double portion. That's a blessing. It's just the same thing that when Moshe was about to leave here, he put his both hands on top of Joshua, and that's a double portion that he gave him. He put both hands on him. He gave him a double portion. He gave him a double portion because that's the way you want to be when your leader leaves. That you have that power to continue that what he didn't finish. Read on, brother.
And he said, thou hast asked a hard thing.
Yeah.
Nevertheless, if thou see me when I am taken from thee, it shall be so unto thee. But if not, it shall not be so.
Okay.
And it came to pass as they still went on and talked that, behold, there appeared a chariot of fire and horses of fire, which parted them both asunder. And Elijah went up by a whirlwind into heaven. And Elisha saw it, and he cried, my father, the chariots of Yisrael and the horsemen thereof. And he saw him no more. And he took hold of his own clothes and rent them in 2 pieces.
That's it. The chariot of fire came and split them in half, take him up. That's why in the book of Malachi, God said he's going to send back Elijah. So that the heart of the children will go back to the father, and the heart of the father will go back to the children. Otherwise, he's going to smite the whole earth. That's what he says. That's what he says. And we can stay and try to figure out how Elisha going to come back and what he's going to look like, but it's all in God's hands. Don't worry yourself about that. Don't worry about how he's going to come back. That's too far. That's too far for us. That's something we don't need to grasp at. We don't need to worry about that. When he comes back, he comes back. Because God said he's bringing him back. Read on, my brother.
He took up also the mantle of Elijah that fell from him, and went back and stood by the bank of the Jordan. And he took the mantle of Elijah that fell from him, and smote the waters, and said, where is Jehovah, the God of Elijah? And when he also had smitten the waters, they were divided hither and thither, and Elisha went over.
Yes, so he had this, they've got a power. They get a power that he slapped the water, and the river just went up in a heap, both sides, hither and thither, both sides. And he walked over on dry ground. So he had that power. Read on, my brother.
And when the sons of the prophets that were at Jericho somewhere saw him, they said, the spirit of Elijah doth rest on Elisha. And they came to meet him and bowed down to the ground before him. And they said unto him, behold now, there are with thy servants 50 strong men. Let them go, we pray thee, and seek thy master, lest peradventure the spirit of Jehovah have taken him up, and cast him upon some mountain or into some valley. And he said, ye shall not send.
Yes, don't send nobody because their faith wasn't that strong.
Right.
Let's say maybe God set him up on a mountain somewhere. Maybe they went up to the heaven. Maybe he did. You know, these are prophets, the sons of the prophets, and they said, maybe let's go and look for him. And he said, no, don't go nowhere. You know, let's see what happened here.
And when they urged him until he was ashamed, he said, same.
Yeah, go on. Since you guys really want to see where Elijah is, go and look for him. You know, but he know already that Elijah went up in the whirlwind and fire. That's it. Read on, my brother.
They sent therefore 50 men, and they sought 3 days, but found him not. And they came back to him while he tarried at Jericho, and he said unto them, did I not say unto you, go not?
I already know. I know the answer. You not know. You waste your time here. All 50 of you went up for 3 days, and you didn't find him. The Most High God did his job already, so don't go looking for him. I know where he's at already. He's gone. Read on, my brother.
And the men of the city said unto Elisha, behold, we pray thee, the situation of this city is pleasant, as my Lord seeth, but the water is bad, and the land miscarrieth. And he said, bring me a new cruse, and put salt therein. And they brought it to him. And he went forth unto the spring of the waters, and cast salt therein, and said, thus saith Jehovah, I have healed these waters. There shall not be from thence any more death or miscarriage.
Thus saith Jehovah, not Elijah or no Elisha.
Right.
Thus saith Jehovah, heal these waters.
That's right.
He's the prophet of Yah.
Right.
He's not Yah.
Right.
He knows who does wonders, who does great things. Yah, not him. It's by God's word to get done. And he knows that very well. You know, he's not taking it upon himself and said, thus said Elisha, heal these waters. He said, thus said Jehovah, heal these waters. Read on, my brother.
So the waters were healed unto this day according to the word of Elisha, which he spoke. And he went up from thence unto Baal, And as he was going up by the way, there came forth little children out of the city and mocked him and said unto him, Go up, thou bald head, go up, thou bald head. And he looked behind him and saw them and cursed them in the name of Yahweh.
Oh, check this out. Little children disrespecting him. But, you know, we would have to say, well, you know, the children.
The children.
They're just children.
Curse them.
You don't curse. You don't have to curse them. They don't know better. Curse them.
Yeah.
Right. Don't disrespect your elders.
Exactly. He cursed them.
You mean?
Yes. He didn't say, well, you know, I won't pay you guys so much. Just go home to your mother. No. He cursed them.
You mean? Right.
Whatever he did, he cursed them.
Right.
And let's see what the curse brought.
And there came forth 2 she-bears out of the wood, and tore 42 children of them. And he went from thence to Mount Carmel, and from thence he returned to Samaria. Hallelujah.
He wished them dead. He wished them dead. The she-bear came out and wiped them out.
Yeah.
Yeah, yes, 42 of them. So don't tell me the children.
Right.
Okay, don't talk that well, but oh, they're just children, and you know, you can just fend them off.
No.
Curse them.
Minus. Right.
Wipe them out. Because children must respect their elders.
Right.
And you know what? We might kind of don't want to say, but they hear the parents talking about Elisha. That ball and such and such.
Right.
And get them by the parents.
Right.
Trust me.
Right.
Because they just can't get up in the morning and call him ballhead.
Right.
They get them from the parents. I'm sick of that ballhead guy.
Right.
Yeah. And he said, I got something for you. The 2 she-bear. Wipe them out. Yeah, that's it. You know, that's it. Yeah, you know, because that's disrespect. He's the prophet. And you disrespect him like that, costs you your life. Let's go on to
Chapter 3, hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Yeah.
Now Jehoram the son of Ahab began to reign over Israel in Samaria in the 18th year of Jehoshaphat, king of Yehuda, and reigned 12 years.
Okay.
And he did that which was evil in the sight of Jehovah, but not like his father and like his mother, for he put away the pillar of Baal that his father had made.
Okay, so this guy is like not too evil, but evil is evil. He's like not too much, you know, but he's evil.
He's a good evil.
Yeah, he's a good evil, like, you know, like kind of a, you know, that kind of a, you know, he won't pray to Baal, but he would bring food and put to him. Yeah, that type of thing. He's not that evil. So, I don't know what, there's no good evil. Evil is evil. That's all it is. Let's read on and see what's his lifestyle.
Nevertheless, he cleaved unto the sins of Jeroboam the son of Nebat, for if he made Israel to sin, he departed not therefrom.
That's the problem with the northern kingdom. And this been going on because God had made Jeroboam the king of Israel, the 10th tribe.
Right.
And everything was going good, but the mind of Jeroboam is said, you know what, if these people go down to to Jerusalem, they might not come back. So I make 2 bulls, 2 calves, so they can praise over here and don't go back to Jerusalem. That's what happened.
Right.
That's just what happened. His mind played tricks on him. And the great man of wisdom said, as a man thinketh, so is he. That's what it is. He from nowhere at all, he started to think that the people have to go to Jerusalem 3 times a year. And he said, you know, if these people go back down to Judah, they may not come back. So I'm going to make 2 bulls here, 2 bull calves, so they can praise that this be the God. And that's why God always mentioned Jeroboam, the son of Nebat, who caused Israel to sin.
Amen.
He will go down in history like that. Yeah, that's all we get on the son of Nebat, who caused Israel to sin. Let's read on, brother.
Now Meshach, king of Moab, was a sheep master.
Yeah.
And he rendered unto the king of Israel the wool of 100,000 lambs and 100,000 rams. But it came to pass when Ahab was dead, that the king of Moab rebelled against the king of Israel.
Yes, they're not getting them on Kashmir.
Right.
Yeah, you're not getting them on wool on Kashmir. That's it, it's over. I'm not giving you nothing. Because he used to pay toll to Ahab. So now that he said, I'm not giving him nothing. Let's read on and see what happened here.
And King Jehoram went out of Samaria at that time and mustered all Yisrael. And he went and sent to Jehoshaphat the king of Yehudah, saying, the king of Moab hath rebelled against me. Wilt thou go with me against Moab to battle? And he said, I will go up. I am as thou art. My people as thy people, my horses as thy horses.
That, it kind of threw me over Jehoshaphat, because he had a thing going with Achab, and then he lost his life. And then you have to cry out, and the people say, oh, that's not Achab. And again, now he tries to go to Ahab's son, and he's doing the same, he's saying the same word. Your people are my people, and your horse is my horse, like you haven't learned his lesson. I don't understand Jehoshaphat. What is it? I mean, that's your brother, I understand that, but you see what happened before with his father. You didn't lose your life. Let's read on and see.
And he said, which way shall we go up? And he answered, the way of the wilderness of Edom. So the king of Israel went, and the king of Yehudah, and the king of Edom, and they made a circuit of 7 days' journey. And there was no water for the host, nor for the beasts that followed them. And the king of Israel said, alas, for Yahweh hath called these 3 kings together to deliver them into the hand of Moab.
No, this is his mindset. There's no water, and right away you think God set them up.
Right.
Yeah. Instead of praying to God and saying, please send us some water, he said, you know, God's going to try to kill these 3 kings. Instead of praying to God. Let's read on and see what's going on.
But Jehoshaphat said, is there not here a prophet of Yahweh, that we may inquire of Yahweh by him?
Yes.
And one of the kings of Israel's servants answered and said, Elisha, the son of Shaphat, is here, who poured water on the hands of Elijah. And Jehoshaphat said, the word of Yahweh is with him. So the king of Israel and Jehoshaphat and the king of Edom went down to him.
Okay.
And Elisha said unto the king of Israel, what have I to do with thee? Get thee to the prophets of thy father, and to the prophets of thy mother. And the king of Israel said unto him, nay, for Yahweh hath called these 3 kings together to deliver them into the hand of Moab.
Yes, he said, go and follow the gods of your mother, Jezebel, and your father, Achab, their God. You know, don't come and ask me for any kind of favor, because those are the gods that you pray to. You understand? But I guess he's going to change his mind. Read on, let's see what happened here with Elisha.
And Elisha said, as Yahweh of hosts liveth, before whom I stand, surely were it not that I regard the presence of Jehoshaphat, the king of Yehudah, I would not look toward thee, nor see thee. But now bring me a minstrel. And it came to pass when the minstrel played, that the hand of Yahweh came upon him.
Yes, if it wasn't for Jehoshaphat, he said, you know, I have nothing to bother with you. It's just because he's a good king, I will deal with him, but with you, I have no kind of patience with you. Because you deal with a God that is an insect. And you know full well that God is in command. That's the God of all Israel. But you decide to pray to other gods. But Jehoshaphat is in the midst of it, so Elisha said, well, okay, bring me a minstrel. We have minstrel. Minstrel is not a European thing. You know, because when you see a movie like the Sir Lancelot, you see the minstrel, they take that from us. We always have somebody to play that harp and music and all that. Yeah, because David played the harp, and Saul when he was off the rocker, yeah, he tried to bring him back. Yeah, he was off the rocker. He didn't know he was going or coming. I think that's the first set of bipolar.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that was
We were just talking about that.
That's the first time we see bipolar. Yeah, sometimes he felt like a nut and sometimes he doesn't. Let's read on.
And he said, thus saith Yahweh, make this valley full of trenches.
Yes.
But thus saith Yahweh, ye shall not see wind, neither shall ye see rain. Yet that valley shall be filled with water, and ye shall drink, both ye and your cattle and your beasts.
That's the power of God. You don't have to say anything. I'll send the water. That's the power that's the entity that we serve.
Right.
That's that great king that we serve. And nothing can happen to you when he's on your side.
Right.
He's your real one. Nothing. He said, he told the man of wisdom that says, if you do, and he said, if you do my statutes, my ordinance, and my commandment, I'll make even your enemy to be at peace with you. The enemy is there, but he's at peace with you. Right. The enemy don't go nowhere, but he's at peace with you. Right. And that's great. Amen. That is excellent that he's there, but he can't do you nothing. Right. He's at peace with you. He can't touch you because God is your protection. Amen. And we need that protection daily, trust me. With the way the streets are today, you know, innocent children getting killed here for no reason at all. I mean, random bullet. And, you know, it's just crazy. It's very, very crazy with our people. You know, they have become just like the people that own the land. Yeah, we have become just like the Europeans, you know, with no regards for life. Right. No regards for life, you know, and you know, I mean, Jehovah give it and he take it, blessed be his name, but my goodness, sometimes it make you, it's like you want to get a grip on things because it's going too crazy. It's going too crazy in this land.
18. And this is but a light thing in the sight of Jehovah. He will also deliver the Moabites into your hand.
Yes.
And he shall smite every fortified city and every choice city, and shall fell every good tree and stop all fountains of water, and mar every good piece of land with stones. And it came to pass in the morning, about the time of making the offering, that behold, there came water by the way of Edom, and the country was filled with water.
Water all over the place. Now we can drink. If the beast can drink, we can drink. You know, and no one know where the water came from, but it came, and that's what they needed, water at that time. We don't know, brother.
Now when all the Moabites heard that the kings were come up to fight against them, they gathered themselves together, all that were able to put on armor, and upward, and stood on the border. And they rose up early in the morning, and the sun shone upon the water. And the Moabites saw the water some way up as red as blood. And they said, this is blood. The kings have surely fought together, and they have smitten each man his fellow. Now therefore Moab to the spoil.
Yes, they thought that the Most High God played tricks with them. The water looked like it's red, so they figured when the king of Edom, the king of Judah, and the king of Israel fought together and killed themselves. And they said, let's get to the spoil. Let's get the money, whatever they have, the gold, the silver, the lead, whatever they have, let's go get it. Let's go.
And when they came to the camp of Yisrael, the Israelites rose up and smote the Moabites, so that they fled before them. And they smote the land, even Moab mightily. And they beat down the cities, and on every good piece of land they cast every man his stone, and filled it. And they stopped all the fountains of water, and felled all the good trees, until there was left only Kir Haresed, with the stones of the wall thereof, so the slingers encompassed it, and smote it. And when the king of Moab saw that the battle was too sore for him, he took with him 700 men that drew sword to break through unto the king of Edom, but they could not. Then he took his eldest son that he should have reigned in his stead, and offered him for a burnt offering upon the wall.
Yes, fast, he's going to stop it. Yeah, he's going to stop this fast right away. You know, God, he's God, the fire God. That's Chemosh. His God is the fire God. He said, I'm going to stop this killing here. I'm taking this firstborn of me and frying it. He's going in the fire.
Dangerous for you back there.
Finish it up, my brother.
And there came great wrath upon Yisrael, and they departed from him and returned to their own land. Hallelujah.
Yes. That's the only way to stop Israel, by putting his first son as a sacrifice. That's that evil. Thank you for your time. It was fun. Shabbat Shalom.
Blessed be. We thank the Most High God for the life of T. Kohath. I'm going to need you. Put it on. You want to remind me? Because I'm done. Give it to me. We thank the Most High God for the life of T. Kohath. The understanding that the Most High God has given him. And it's important for us to get to the history, and the people are interested in the history, and the people keep coming back for the history because history is interesting. Right. A lot of times we just cover the Torah, and the Torah is beautiful, but we also need to know the history. You know, Bible critics often have said, oh, that book is not true. That book, put it in the trash because it's all allegory, it's this, it's that. But I never seen a people who, in their own book, talk about their faults. The Egyptians don't do that.
No.
No other society or other history ever do that. The Greeks don't talk about their faults.
No.
But we talk about our faults. And it seems like there's more faults than good. Talking about somebody sacrificing their son. You're talking about, I mean, all types of crazy stuff that people was doing. And they understand who Yah was. But they was mixing Yah with everything else. That's why when we went into the land, God told us, get rid of those people. And we didn't do what God told us to do. We did not get rid of the Canaanites. And then the Most High said, because you didn't get rid of them, they're going to become a thorn to your side. And that's what, you know what a thorn does?
Oh, yeah.
You ever get caught up in a thorn bush? You in trouble. You in trouble. You talking about little roses with the little, oh my goodness, you try to pick up, to get a flower so beautiful, you got to go through so much. You got to go through so much. So these are the things that we have to be aware of, and these are the things that we have to think about. Let us go to the book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 29, verse 1. As we still got a lot of time left before it gets dark, let us just go through some precepts.
Ecclesiasticus is in the Apocrypha.
Or the book of
Ecclesiastes.
Sirach. Ecclesiasticus in the Apocrypha.
Right. The 29th chapter.
Right.
Making your neighbor alone is an act of mercy.
Uh-huh.
To lend him a helping hand is to keep the commandment.
He says, he that is merciful will lend unto his neighbor, and he that strengtheneth his hand keepeth commandments. Meaning, like, mercy is to be how do you say it? Merciful is to have compassion. Right? So you see your neighbor in need, you help them out.
Right.
You see a neighbor that needs something, you help them out. You see a person in need, you help them out. So mercy is a great thing.
Right.
You know, it says, strengtheneth his hand. It said, and he that strengtheneth his hand keepeth the commandments. So in turn, when we're merciful and we look out for each other, we're keeping the commandment, because the commandment tells us to look out for the neighbor.
Right.
Tell us not to glean our yard, because for the passerby and the poor and the needy, all these things are part of Torah. Right. So it strengthens your hand with Torah, and it also makes you look good before the Creator. Let us go, verse 2.
Lend to your neighbor in his time of need, and in your turn repay your neighbor on time.
It said, lend to thy neighbor in time of his need, and pay thou thy neighbor again in due season. Meaning, when you borrow from someone, when you get your money, when that income tax come in, don't ignore it like you didn't borrow from them. Right? So when you borrow from someone, pay back. Get into the habit of paying back. Get into the habit of understanding that when you have debt, treat your brother lending you money just like a bill. God just told us that we can't lend with usury, meaning with interest. Like when you lend to a brother or sister, you can't say, well, for every $100 you got to give me 150 back. We can't do that. We can't shark each other. But when a neighbor or a brother or sister helps you, make it your business to pay back. Make it your business to make them understand, listen, I can't pay you this week, but I'll follow up next week. People always come up with excuses. Oh, I was embarrassed. I didn't have the money. You know, I'm going to pay you back. I'm going to pay you back. I'm going to pay you back. But when you give your word, like I spoke about last week, when you give your word and you tell someone you're going to give them something back, or you're going to pay them back, then pay them back. If you can't, your word is your bond. If you can't pay back, just say, can I have? Can you give me? That's a big difference than saying, can I borrow? Because when you say, can I borrow, now, when you borrowing, that means it's with intent to pay back. Am I right or wrong? So you got to pay back. Sometimes with Israel, we play these games, and we take for granted friendships. We take for granted the people that are in the midst of us and that do good to us, and we use them. And we can't do that. We're not supposed to be like that. Let us go, verse 3.
Be as good as your word and keep faith with him, and you will find your needs met every time.
Say, keep thy word and deal faithfully with him, and thou shalt always find the thing that is necessary for thee. So that means that if you borrow, if you're a person that you know you borrow and you pay back, every time you go back to this person, whenever you need to borrow, they'll be like, hey, yeah, you can hold. There's no problem there, it goes, because you always know to pay back. So be that faithful person that always keeps their word and that always pays back on time when you say you're going to pay back. And when you can't pay back on time, at least pay back. Pay back. That's it. Let us go.
Many treat a loan as a windfall and embarrass those who have come to their rescue.
It says, many, when a thing was lent them, reckoned it to be found, and put them to trouble that helped them. Meaning, when somebody gives you a loan, you make it seem like you found $500 on the ground, and it's just solely yours. So you act like you never have to pay that back, because we take advantage of each other. That's the problem. We take advantage of each other, but them credit card companies and stuff like that, you be on point with those payments. But to each other, we be like, it'd be all right. It's okay. I just borrowed from the camp. It's okay. I don't have to pay back. I'll pay back when I pay back. And that's how people do. People do stuff like that. They be like, that's just the camp. Not knowing that you putting yourself in a deeper hole for when you need that helping hand again, you better not look at that person again. And it's going to speak about here how you turn a good friend into an enemy from doing stuff like that. Let us go.
Until he gets something, a man will kiss his neighbor's hand and refer to his wealth in respectful tones. But when the loan falls due, he puts this off. He repays with offhand words and pleads the inconvenience of the time.
So you see two different translations, but it means the same thing. So he have received. This is the guy who's asking or begging, right? He will kiss a man's hand. Oh, please, can I have it? Can you please? He'll do anything. It says, and for his neighbor's money, he will speak submissively. Canadon. Talakli. He will bow to you. Yes, my Lord. He will do all types of stuff, right? It says, but when he should repay, he will prolong the time and return words of grief and complain of the time. You see this monkey walking around, he all clean, and he got new $500 shoes, and he got all types of stuff going on, and you're like, I know them things cost about $300, the jeans cost about that amount of money, that stuff that he got on, the cologne cost about $250. Where my money at, man?
You don't need it.
You going to Miami? How you going to Miami? You got some debts here to pay off. But the problem is that because we're kind-hearted. We usually don't put pressure on each other for money, and then when you get a person that actually puts pressure on you, you look at them like, oh, come on, man. You got it. Yeah, why you gotta come? Why you gotta do that? Why you gotta be like that? Because I see that you out right now, and that $500, I need it. Oh, you don't need it, man. You got 2, 3 cars. They start counting what you got. You got 2, 3 cars. You got chain. You got this, that, and the other. And I mean, you don't need that money, man. Come on, man. I'm just getting up. Yeah, and make it your priority to get up and see me and pay me my money. That's what we have to learn. Let us go.
Even if he can be made to pay, his creditor will barely recover half, and consider even that at a windfall.
It says, if he prevail, he shall hardly receive the half, and he will count as if he had found it. If not, he have deprived him of his money, and he have gotten him an enemy without cause. He payeth him with cursings and railings, and for honor he will pay him disgrace. So the man who lent you, you will argue with him, fight with him, do all types of stuff, call him all types of names, and he'd be lucky if he get half of his money. Yeah, 500, you get 250 back, and man, you should be happy that I gave you 250. So now you playing on people's niceness and kindness, and you kind of like playing them, and that's what brings people to blows. And hatred come between people. Because we don't deal with people the way that we're supposed to deal with them. When you borrow from someone, that should be priority number one, to pay back. When you say, I'm going to borrow. Now your brother might see you down and he might break you off, son, man, hold on to that.
Yeah.
But when you say, can I borrow? You need to learn how to pay back. Let us go.
But otherwise he will be cheated of his money and undeservedly gain himself an enemy.
You hear many therefore, yeah, go ahead, verse 7.
The man will pay him back, verse 9.
Verse
the
9.
man will pay him back in curses and recriminations, and instead of respect will have contempt for him. Many now out of malice refuse to lend. They are merely anxious not to be cheated for nothing.
You hear that? Many therefore have refused to lend for other men's ill dealing, fearing to be defrauded. That's what makes people cut short on lending. They're like, yeah, because you're like, nah, I don't have it. They might have it, but now it causes this brother to sin, because it says, if your neighbor is in need, it said, give him enough to where he's satisfied. Right? But because you've had so many bad dealings with people, you like, man, maybe you go to the next brother, I don't have it right now. So you end up lying. Because you don't want to, you've been burnt so many times that you don't want to fall into that predicament anymore. So this is for all of us, right? Not specifying anyone in particular, but this is for all of us. And those of you who dealt with borrowing and have paid back people, that's the way you're supposed to deal with it. And for those of you who have acted like someone lent you something, right? And you didn't have to pay them back, and the person just didn't say anything about it, you need to call it back to mind and say, here go that money that I borrowed from you. I know it's about 5 years later. I know it's about 7 years later, but here goes your money. That's the righteous thing to do, because when you say borrow, that's what you meant, borrow. Borrow did not mean give or have. Let us go.
Nevertheless, be patient with those who are badly off. Do not keep them waiting on your generosity.
You hear that? Yet, and this is the kind of stuff that puts you in a pickle, because it says, yet have thou patience with a man in poor estate, and delay not to show him mercy. But that's different than someone borrowing. Right? Because it's saying a man in a low estate, a poor person, you see them struggling. They most likely not going to borrow because they know they can't pay it back. But God said, when you see that, show kindness to them. That's right. Look out for the poor and the needy. These are the things the precepts that we learn. Let us go.
For the commandments say, go to the poor man's help. Do not turn him away empty-handed in his need.
It says, help the poor man for the commandment's sake, and turn him not away because of his poverty. Turn them not away, turn her not away. If you see that they're poor, do the right thing. But for them people that are not on that level, they just fell in some hard times and they borrow, and then you see them up, you need to pay back. Pay back your debt. Let us go.
Better let your silver go on brother or friend. Do not let it go to waste, rusting under a stone.
Lose thy money for thy brother and thy friend, and let it not rust under a stone to be lost. Meaning, when you see a person in need, your brother or friend, help them out. Be kind-hearted. Look out for the poor. That's all that's reiterated. Let us go.
Invest your treasure as the Most High orders, and you will find it more profitable than gold.
You hear that? Lay up thy treasure according to the commandments of the Most High, and it shall bring thee more profit than gold. It say cast thy bread into the waters. It said it shall come back to you. Meaning that when you do charity, that charity tends to come back to you. So when you're good to people, the Most High God will increase your treasures and stuff like that, and it comes back to you because you're doing the commandments. Let us go.
Deposit generosity in your storerooms, and it will release you from every misfortune.
Say, shut up alms in thy storehouses, and it shall deliver thee from all affliction. Alms is charity. Means put something aside for the poor and the needy. It said, and it's going to come back to repay you. God, it says, giving to the poor is like lending unto God. So when you give, when you have this generosity, right, it will come back to you sevenfold, tenfold. So we also need to learn how to be given to the poor and the needy. Always have a little bank account to the side for the poor and the needy. Always have something for the poor and the needy. Let us go.
Better than sturdy shield or weighty spear, it will fight for you against the enemy.
It says, it shall fight for thee against thine enemies, better than a mighty shield and strong spear. Why? Because you're getting the protection of God behind you. You're getting good merit with the Creator. Let us go.
A good man will go surety for his neighbor. A man has lost all shame if he fails him.
It says, an honest man is surety for his neighbor, but he that is impudent will forsake them. You will look out for your brother or your sister just out of love and kindness, right? But you got to know who you do good to. Right? Because, but he that is impudent will forsake him. Meaning that brother, that sister that you did good for, they will forsake you. They will leave you holding a bag. Your brother come to you, your sister come to you. I need you to co-sign for this student loan, you know, and can you please do this for me? And I promise you, you know, as soon as I graduate, I'm gonna get a job and I'm gonna do all the right things. Monkey don't even finish first year of school. And you know, as soon as you get out of school, what happens? They start sending you gotta pay. You gotta pay. But he don't got a job, she don't got a job.
Who they coming for?
So they coming for the co-signer. They coming for the co-signer. And since you co-sign and you put your name on it, now you gotta pay. That's what co-signing is. People come to you, can you put your name on, you know, I'm trying to get this car and I got the money, but you know the interest rate is so high, it's a 8%, 9%, 10% interest rate, and they trying to hit me in the head, but I know you got good credit. And since you got good credit, can you co-sign for me? And because of the love that you got for the person, right? And the love that you got for the person, there you go, you. All right, I'll do that for you, you know. And then they leave you holding the bag. And you got a car, they driving the car, and you making the payments because you can't catch up to them. Be like, yo, bring that car back over here. Bring that car back over here. Right now in New York City, if your credit ain't good, you can't get an apartment. It ain't no more, you could just good word of mouth and a neighbor and, you know, you could get in the apartment. Now it's like, no, your credit gotta be right. Everything gotta be correct in order for you to get even an apartment. It used to be for a house, everything had to be in order. Now it's just for an apartment. People want to make sure that you are responsible. That they put responsible people in apartments and their places so that responsible people will be able to pay. You get people to co-sign and you do all types of stuff and you begin to do shady business. That sort of stuff is no good. You know, we have to be responsible for the things that we say out of our mouths. We have to be responsible. You know, because it makes no sense for someone to be holding a bag for someone else. And you find it in all types of things. So to be surety for someone, be sure of that person. Be sure of that person. There's just certain people, a handful of people that come to me and be like, yo man, my brother, I need this, and I'm sure to pay you back. Well, I will blindly be like, all right, here it goes. There's not too many people you can do that for. Let us go.
Do not forget the favor your guarantor has done you. He has given his life for you. A sin is careless of his guarantor's prosperity. An ungrateful man forgets the one who saved them.
It says, forget not the friendship of thy surety, for he hath given his life for thee. Meaning, don't forget the person, the guarantor, the person who signed for you, because he put his credit or his life on the line for you. Right. So you should be grateful for what they did. A sinner will overthrow the good estate of his surety, meaning that a person who doesn't care about that friendship or don't care about that person, they'll throw it away. They don't care. I don't care what that person thinks or what they care because of your own feelings. But whenever you put yourself in situations like that, you should look at what you're doing and be sure about what you're doing. And you should go to all extents to be able to pay back whatever it is that you put that person under. That's right. you should do it. Even kids, when your parents got to co-sign for you for student loans, or your parents do it blindly because they love you, that means that when you graduate from college, that you need to jump on a job and try to find something in order for you to pay back. Because that's not your parents' responsibility. Because by the time you get out of school, you're an adult. You should be looking for a job. Maybe parents help you out with the first couple of payments, but then after that, you got to do what you got to do. You got to get on top of it. That's life. When you grow up, that's what it is. That's the rules of the game. Feel what I'm saying? So these are things that we have to begin to do. What we also have to do that we didn't learn growing up is that, and a lot of other people do it, but we don't do it, we got to begin to put money aside. And I realize that now that kids are starting to go to school and college, and you see them loans that they have to take, and they want you to put your name on everything, and you be like, man, my credit been good, been perfect, for all the time that I've been rocking. You just better do the right thing. You know, go to school, finish it out, because I'm not trying to pay no loans, no early loans. So go to school, do the right thing. But what we have to begin to do is, someone told me, he said, if every time our children are born, we put $1,000 to the side, just for that child, for college fund or for retirement fund. My friend told me he worked for Pride America. He was like, if you take $1,000, put it to the side, by the time that child comes to retirement age, you'll have about $2-3 million if you invest it right. He said, if you take that same $1,000, you start them out with $1,000, you put them in some investment stuff, by the time they get to high school, where they graduate from high school and they go to college, they'll have enough money to pay for their college tuition. But we don't think of things like that. Most of the time, we don't have $1,000 to put to the side when a child is born. But these are things that we have to begin to do. You know John Witherspoon, the comedian. Bang, bang, bang. That guy. Everybody knows that. You know, you got to coordinate that guy. Yeah. So he said when his son was born, Shalom, when his son was born, he said that David Letterman, I think he said David Letterman is a good friend of his. She said when his son was born, David Letterman went and bought John Witherspoon's son a barn. He was like, yeah, this is my gift. I'm not gonna go get stroller or anything like that. This is gonna pay off for him when he get older, when he graduates from high school. So he said he took the barn, never even looked at it. He said when the son graduated from high school, he was like, David Letterman, gave me that barn. So he went and looked for it and see how much interest and how much it was worth. He said it was like $300,000, $300,000 or $500,000, and he was able to pay off. He didn't even have to worry about school. So sometimes when we have these, when we see children are born and stuff like that, it's better to open up like an account or to do something like that than to be buying all the same type of stuff, because our children are our future. So when we start thinking about things like that from now, we will set a better path for the children when they get older. Those are things that we were never taught, but that's what a lot of people do. When people buy insurance, when Caucasians buy insurance, you see, wealth is something most wealth is inherited. Most wealth is inherited. We don't inherit wealth because we don't have it. And we don't think about things. We think about insurance, so we pay for $10,000 life insurance, and that only is going to cover your funeral. That's only, you got 5 kids and you got $10,000 insurance. All that's covering is your funeral, and the funeral home is taking every cent of it. They're going to tell you that's what it costs. What Caucasians and Asians and all these other people do, they invest in their death. This is how they do it. They get $1 million policies. They pay what they got to pay into the policy, but they know that when they're gone, that their family is secure. You ever see the commercial with the kid? They showing the kid, he's sneaking out of the house, and it looked like he's taking drugs or he's hanging out. And then the mother catches him coming in like midnight, and she's like, talk to me, what are you doing? So he gives her the check like, I'm trying to help you out. And she hugs him and she said, Dad already took care of us. That's what that was. Dad died. He had a good insurance. You don't have to work. Dad took care of paying off the house. You going for you to go to school and all of that. He bought in on a big policy. He invested on a policy just in case something like this happened that we will be taken care of. And that's what a lot of people do. And so when people pass away, people have a way of passing down that wealth that way. But with us, we don't practice those type of things. We think that it's foreign, but that's not foreign. That's something that we could do. We have to begin to look into that market and play in it and understand how to move your money around. Take your 401k and move that money around, because it don't make no sense for you to be working for a company for 25 years and all you got at the end of retirement is 150k. You can't retire off of that. You cannot retire off of that. So we have to begin to get into things and make investments so that we could make a better life for our children and for everyone after, all our generations that come after us. Let us go.
Going surety has ruined many prosperous men and rocked them like a wave of the sea. It has driven powerful men from home to wander among foreign nations.
It says, surety have undone many of good estate and shaken them as a wave of the sea. Mighty men have it driven from their houses so that they wandered among strange nations. Meaning, when you surety for people, when you co-sign for people, people lose their homes. You got a bad, you get like these children that are bad, and you hear about these stories, right? Son gets into all types of stuff. Come on, Mom, can you bail me out? Can you bail me out? You put your house up. You put your house up. The bail bond said, put your house up. You put your house up. That ungrateful so-and-so, he flees, and guess what they come after? They come after that house. A good son is going to be like, nah, man, I'm good. Pops, I'm good. I'm going to just sit here and I'm going to ride it out. You don't got to put your house up for me. But, you put your house up for people, that's being surety even for your own family. Then you lose your home, and then you wandering and working for people when you already worked and you put in the time for you to be able to live a comfortable life and live out your years, but because you put so much into this child or whomever it might be, it costs you everything that you work hard for. Let us go.
The sinner who involves himself with guarantees in the pursuit of a deal will find himself involved in lawsuits.
Wow.
Come
it
see
says,
us.
I gotta find that one. Sure. And he that undertaketh and followeth other men's business for gain shall fall into suits. In other words, be mindful of your own business. And don't follow people into these credit. When people got a deal that's so great that you can't believe it, it's probably not that great. It's probably some type of scheme or something that's happening. And it's going to cost you your money. Like Bernie Madoff, right? Yeah. This guy had the greatest Ponzi scheme in the world. He had Fortune 500 companies invested in him. But the problem with people is greed. And greed will kill you. Because in pursuit of whatever it is that you're pursuing, right? You become just blinded by money. And money is not everything. So you keep pursuing money, you keep pursuing money, you keep looking for money. The rich, they said that's the difference between rich and poor people. They said the rich are always reinvesting their money in something else and trying to gain more wealth. They said and the poor are kind of satisfied with the way that they're living. But the problem with being rich is like when you just keep pursuing more and more money, then you lose track of what reality and what life is. So you don't consider the poor and the needy. You don't consider all that. I mean, these billions of dollars that people like Warren Buffett and Bill Gates have, what are they going to do with that? What do you do when you amass all that wealth? What do you do with it? So Bill Gates, you know, started giving some scholarships, started fixing up some schools. He's doing some good stuff with his money. I don't know what Warren Buffett does with it, but when you amass wealth, the wealth is not supposed to be just to put in your pocket. You're supposed to help out people. That's the whole thing of amassing wealth. That's why when you got these mega churches that make so many millions of dollars, and you could ask your parishioners that, you know, for a new jet, a new Lear jet, and they give it up to you, they're supposed to be looking out for the poor and the needy in their congregation. They're supposed to be building schools, senior center, all types of places for the community to look out. Because the job of a pastor or the job of a leader, of a shepherd, is not to get fat off the people. It is to help the people out. That's the job. Yes, you bring the word of God and you bring inspiration, but you're supposed to help the people out. And you know who's good with that? And we love to throw stones at them, and we love to talk about it. That's why I don't talk about them no more. The Jews. You go to any Jewish community. Even I've seen Israelites that got Hebrew names that have gone to yeshivas and places like that. And if they're in need and they need help, don't people help them? And that's why, you see, they've cracked a combination code to Torah. We keep criticizing them, but they cracked it. We still have to crack it. Because they look out for the poor and the needy. They look out for the poor. They do that. We just got to get on that level now. Stop criticizing them and maybe look at some of the things that they're doing, and maybe it will help us out in some of our endeavors and some of the things that we need to do. Let us go.
Come to your neighbor's help as far as you can, but take care not to fall into the same plight.
Help thy neighbor according to thy power, and beware that thou thyself fall not into the same. Meaning, you can't give more than what you're capable of giving. Don't give more, because or else you're going to find yourself in poverty. Sometimes you get, like you got people, like you got family in other countries, and sometimes when you got a lost family, you know, they talk amongst each other, so when you help one, the next feels like you should help them too. But you might be helping one because they might call you and say, look, the lights is on so-and-so, I'm falling into some hard time. Can you send me $100, $150? All right, you send it. But then without failure, the next week, the next one is calling and saying, I need so-and-so and so. But if you keep sending $150, $100, you're going to fall. You're not going to be able to help anyone. So you have to pace yourself and be able to say no sometimes so that you be able to continue functioning as a person. Let us go.
The first thing in life is water and bread and clothing and a house for the sake of privacy.
You hear that? The basic needs of life are, the chief thing of life is water, which we all need to survive. Bread, meaning lechem, food, right? It's the staff of life. And clothing and house to cover shame. We all need a house. Those are the basic things in life. Let us go.
Better a poor man's life under a roof of planks than lavish fare in the house of another.
You hear that? So better is a poor man in a humble house,
right,
than delicate fare in another man's house, to be living in somebody else's house. Because what is going to say?
Whether you have little or much, be content with it, and you will not be dubbed an intruder.
You hear that? Whether you have plenty or much, be glad with your humble abode. Be happy with that, because you don't want to be dubbed an intruder in someone's. You don't want to be living on someone's couch. That's right. So be happy with what God has given you and be thankful. Let us go.
Amen. It is a miserable life going from house to house. Whether you stay, not daring to open your mouth, you are a stranger. You know the taste of humiliation.
You hear that? You are a stranger. You know for it is miserable life to go from house to house, from couch to couch. For where thou art a stranger, thou darest not open thy mouth. You don't have anything to say here. Even the children treat you like you a servant. They talk down to you. They don't respect you. Why? Because it's not your house. Let us go.
Not to mention the sound of embittering words. Come along, stranger, lay the table.
Oh,
if you have
wow.
anything with you, you give it to me to eat.
It says here, thou shalt entertain and feast and have no thanks. Meaning you're going to be like a servant, and you're going to be serving and helping out and doing all types of stuff, and you're not going to, people not even going to say thank you to you. Moreover, thou shalt hear bitter words. People going to talk down to you. Come thou, stranger, furnish a table and feed me of that thou hast ready. Going to treat you like a servant, and that's just supposed to be your ace. He's going to treat you like a servant. Let us go.
Go away, stranger. Make room for someone important. My brother is coming to stay. I need the house.
And when it's time for brother, cousin, parents, hey, you can't sleep here today, man. You have no surety because my father's coming, my brother's coming. So you got to keep it moving. Let's go.
It is hard for a cultured man to hear himself begrudged hospitality and treated like an undischarged debtor.
You hear that? These things are grievous to a man of understanding, the upbraiding of house room and reproaching of the lender. So these are lessons of life that we need to take into consideration. It's better for you to work hard, live in your humble abode, rather to be dependent on someone else to be housing you, especially someone that's not family, someone that's not blood, and even that gets overbearing. Because people, when you let them stay in your home, sometimes the people reverse and act like they got an attitude with you. They act like they got an attitude, and you're helping them out. You're helping them out, and they walk past you, and they act like they got an attitude with you. And you wonder, well, what have I done? But they act like they got an attitude with you. And believe me, I've gone through that experience. People act like they got an attitude with you. And you let them stay. You never told them they had to go. You never put them out. You never did anything. But they shame. Make them walk around as if they have an attitude with you, not knowing that that they're supposed to be grateful that you have family that will put you up. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Blessed be the Most High King. Baruch haba. That's what he was telling me. You know he was so he was organized.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Thanking the Most High God for a beautiful Shabbat day. As we begin to close out, just a reminder, tonight starts Tisha B'Av. Tisha B'Av was when? The 9th of Av. What does that commemorate?
Destruction of the temple.
Destruction of both temples. 655 years apart. Right?
Mm-hmm.
That's a time where a lot of our family fasted. This would be counted as one of the fasts during the course of the year. So, just to put that out there. As I say these words, I pray that the Most High God will hear them coming from my mouth, and bless us. Continue to give us life, food, clothing, shelter, good health, wealth, strength. Be with our families. Continue to be our guide, our protector, and all the things good that we think about in life. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
War Dabir Yehovah El Moshe Lemor. Dabir El Aharon wa El Benal Lemor. Kol Tvar Kuit B'nai Yisrael Amor Lahem. Yehovah spoke unto Moshe, saying, Speak unto Aharon and unto his son, saying, On this wise ye shall bless the children of Yisrael. Ye shall say unto them, Yivarecha Yehovah v'yishmarecha. Ya'ir Yehovah pana alecha v'yichunecha. Yisa Yehovah pana alecha v'yasim lecha. Shalom. Yehovah bless thee and keep thee. Yehovah make his face to shine upon thee, be gracious unto thee. Yehovah lift up his countenance upon thee and give thee peace. Amen. Hallelujah.
Most High. Shabbat Shalom Lakah.
Oh God. Lechuim Yah.
Announcement for Rakashah. For the people online that would like to make donations, you can make your donations out to BINAH, D.C.B. D.C.B. 382 Hamilton Avenue, Brooklyn, New York, 11231. Right? 11231. That's for everyone that would like to donate through checks or money order. You can also donate on our PayPal, info@baitdcb.org. info@baitdcb.org. O-R-G. All right? That's for everyone online. info@baitdcb.org. You can also donate on our website, www.baitdcb.org. On the home page, on the lower left-hand side where it says donate, you can donate through check, money order, all those different avenues. Also, don't forget on August 12th, we will be having our trip to Great Adventures. We have a bus for our children, and everyone else out there is invited to come out and join us on the Great Adventures trip. So, Bavakashah, we need to pack this bus. We need to make it a joyous time for everyone to come out and enjoy themselves. Any other announcements? I'm forgetting something, I know. Next week, they're having the family picnic out in or gathering out in Brooklyn Bridge Park. Everybody that wants to come out and be out there, that's where they're going to be at. So that's it. Any other announcements? That's it. The birthday's Tuesday.
You gonna dance now? Or
you gonna dance now or next week?
I'll dance
Next week, we'll dance next week. Your grandfather's birthday was yesterday, but I don't know. I've been told Prince Jerry is little years old. That's what your grandson said. Your birthday was yesterday. It's today. Right now. Yo mulede, sameya. 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 We pray that the Most High God bless you with many more, Prince. Many more, Prince Jerry. All right, who donated so far here?
Yamima Prescott.
Yamima Prescott, thank you for your donation.
Arania.
Maury Arania.
And Brandon Smith.
Brandon Smith. We need your help online, people online, Bavakashah. Don't forget to donate. Your donations are needed and they are important. So to everybody online. I'd like to thank also my Bang Maozia, who I was in the back looking at the TV at the stream, and I see all of y'all guys that got 55-inch TVs and 65-inch TVs. He bringing it to y'all in high definition. Y'all can watch it in high definition. I know y'all argue with him about zooming in, and I'll argue with him about that too, but y'all getting it in high def, so I thank the Most High God for my Bane for the hard work he puts in and the aggravation that he puts up with me. Hallelujah. Yes, Imam. You need me to come over? All right. That's it.
Donations, obligations for the nation.